Oh my goodness. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from today's title, I am going to be talking about my experience with getting engaged at 19 and married at 20. 20? Oh my gosh, that's too young to be married. Okay. Anyways, if you're not my family and friends and you're watching this, some backstory is that, well, like I said, I'm married. But I met my husband, his name is Ben. I met him when we were in middle school. He was in grade 7, I was in grade 8. I don't know if we met at youth group or if we met at school drama. I don't remember. And then our friend groups kind of merged together and we were friends and we would have like friend movie nights and everything like that. So we started dating when I was 15 or 16. I don't quite remember when, but yeah. So yes, we are high school sweethearts. So yeah, we dated all throughout high school and it was just splendid. That sounded sarcastic. It wasn't sarcastic. It really was a great time, which is why I married him. Anyways, I don't remember when, but in high school, we knew that we wanted to get married and we wanted to marry each other after we both graduated. Like, we didn't have anything set in stone or anything. It was just like, we knew that we wanted to be together. Something that I always found funny while we were dating in high school is that throughout our relationship, so many people told me, they're like,
oh, it's just puppy love. Like, it's just puppy love. Don't get your hopes up. Like, high school relationships, like, statistically, they don't last. So, like, just so you know.
I was like, yeah, as if I didn't know that. I feel like everyone knows that. You know, I don't know. But also, like, thank you for that useless, discouraging information. There were also actually a lot of encouraging people throughout our relationship as well. But most surprisingly, it was actually our teachers that were supportive. They were like, you know what, you guys make a cute couple and I can see you lasting. And like, oh my gosh, I hope you guys make it because you just make such a great couple. And I'm like, thank you. But yeah, that was mostly my teachers. It's actually people from my church that were telling me that we weren't gonna make it and that it's a high school relationship and it's puppy love and it means nothing. Our relationship meant nothing. And so that kind of hurt. The people that were supposed to be, you know, the closest to me were telling me, like, you know, kind of bringing me down a little bit. And then the people that, but then I did spend more time with my teachers than I did with people at church, you know what I mean? So they saw our relationship more than church people did. So yeah, from the get-go, people were telling us that we weren't gonna make it. Not everyone, like I just said, but you know, negatives for some reason stick out more than positives, unfortunately. Yeah, and that was all just while we were dating. I could go more in depth about that, but we are not talking about our dating experience. I'm talking about getting engaged at 19. Very young, I am aware. Next, thank you, next. So yes, after we graduated, I graduated, like I'm a year older than him, so I graduated. And then the next year he graduated. And so we got engaged in August of 2018. So yeah, it wasn't that long ago. After we got engaged in August, that is when the fun started, she stated sarcastically. And like, being engaged was not the bad part at all. Like, I love being engaged because it meant I'm gonna get married eventually to Ben. And that was very exciting to me because I love the man, you know? I'm so weird. I am bad at talking, so don't come for me. I mean, you can judge me if you want. I judge myself all the time, so. Anyways, but yeah, I love the guy. To no end. There was no end. If there was an end, I wouldn't have it. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways. But yeah, so being engaged wasn't the bad part. It was just all of the unnecessary comments that came along with it because we were so young. And we still are young, so I mean. Anyways, the people who knew us the most, like friends and families, like close friends and family, they were very supportive and like, they were like, yes, 100%, you guys are great together, get married, yeah. Although there were still some people who were close to us who did not congratulate us, but that is okay. Not everyone, you're not gonna please everyone, and that's not your duty in life, is to please everyone. You just have to live your life and be happy, as long as you're not hurting anyone. It was random strangers who I didn't know that well that were telling me and Ben really discouraging things. And I was like, what? I don't know you. Why are you telling me I shouldn't be getting married because I'm too young? Like, you don't know me. You don't know my story. You don't know how long I've been with the guy, Ben. But yeah, they were always like,
you're engaged? Are you sure you want to do that?
No, I'm being forced. Please help me. This is a call for help. I mean, I guess sometimes that can be the case, but this was not one of those times. You know what I mean?
Is it an arranged marriage?
I'm like, no, what?
Oh, you're getting married? Have fun with that.
And literally, someone I hadn't talked to in 2 years, I hadn't seen in 2 years because I think they moved. I'm not sure. They just kind of dropped off the face of the planet. But I mean, I also wasn't close with them ever. I maybe talked to them in my life like twice or 3 times maybe at most. So I didn't know them. But also at that point, I hadn't seen them for 2 years because I don't know what happened to them. Anyways, but they came back. I was at work and she was like, oh, hey, how's it going? Like, how's life? So I was like, well, I'm engaged and I'm getting married soon in a few months. I think this was like 3 months before my wedding. So like the wedding was coming up quick. And she was like,
you're engaged?
And I was like, yes.
Do you think you're ready for that? I don't think that's the best idea.
And I was like, Miss Ma'am, I don't know you. You don't know me. You just came, you left, and now you're back for, I don't know what, maybe you're visiting or you moved back, but Miss Ma'am, you've been gone. Also, I don't know you that well in the first place. What? I don't know. It's just like, why is your first thought to be discouraging? And like, she wasn't the only one. It was so many people that were like that. And I was like, but they were all people that I didn't know that well, you know, and they didn't know me that well. They maybe thought that they knew me because it's a small town and everyone thinks that they know everyone, but you don't really. You only know what they show you. You know what I mean? So in my head, I was like, yes, I'm ready. Mind your business, Miss Ma'am. But I did not say that. I'm the awkward person I am. Was like, yeah, I think so. But also, so me being on like not confident probably also didn't help the case. So she's probably like, oh, she's not very confident. She's not ready to get married. It's like, no, I'm just not confident around people that I feel uncomfortable around. And then there were the people that thought I was getting married because I was pregnant. And they were like, oh, are you pregnant? And I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. Have I gained weight? Probably, but not because I'm pregnant. And then they're like, oh, but you're gonna have kids like right after you get married, right? And I was like, no, I am not. The kids aren't even a thought in our head right now. We know that we are not prepared to have kids. Some people our age have kids and that's totally fine. Make the decisions what work best for you. But for us, we don't want to have kids anytime soon. So, and I would say that. And they were like, well, then why are you getting married? I'm like, what? Do people just get married because they have kids together? Is that what marriage is? Is just because you get pregnant or because you're being forced? I was very, very confused. But I think it was all confusion because we were so young. They're like, how could you be so young and want to get married? Because like people have in their head was like, once you get married, you lose your freedom. But we didn't see it like that. But also like, just realize that everyone is different. You know what I mean? So just because you think that your freedom got taken away, that doesn't mean that's how it is for everybody. So those comments happened all throughout our engagement, which was, it got really tiring. I was like, can people just be happy for me and Ben? I guess not. At least strangers. Then we got married a year later when I was 20. And so after we got married, there was a really small window. Grayson. Hey, baby. So there was a small window where people were very supportive, and they were like, oh, congratulations, you know, I hope you guys have a great life together, and like, you know, nice comments. And I was like, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, like, yeah, people are being supportive. Love this, love that for us. But that did not last long. That really only lasted as long as our honeymoon. But then literally as soon as we got back from our honeymoon, not right away, but like pretty soon right after our honeymoon, people would come into where I worked and they would be like, oh, look, it's the married girl. And I'm like, yep, that's me. And then they're like, oh, how is it? And I'm like, it's good. Like I really enjoy being married. I mean, I've only been married for a week, so but like, I don't know, it didn't change much. It's still Ben. I'm still me. Now we just live together. I don't know. But they were like, are you sick of him yet? Oh my gosh, are you just like so miserable? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I am not at all. And they're like,
oh, well, that's just because you're on the honeymoon phase.
well, first of all, even if I was in the honeymoon phase, why are you trying to bring me down? Like, you know, like, if someone's happy, why are you trying to be like, oh, well, just you wait, that's gonna go away. What is the point? Well, let's go So yeah, even if we were in the honeymoon phase, why not let us enjoy it instead of spreading negativity, you know? I just don't understand how someone's first response when someone says that they're happy is to be negative and be like, well, that's not gonna last. You're gonna be sad and you're gonna be miserable eventually. What? Shut up. Well, let's go Like, I would understand if people saw a relationship and thought we were in a toxic relationship, or like, hey, you guys are actually not good for each other. But that wasn't the case. Oh yeah, and there was this one time, so after we got married, like we worked at different places, obviously most people do, but we would sometimes have our lunch breaks at the same time, which was really nice. He would come to my place because I wasn't allowed to leave my work for my lunch break, but he was. And so he would come where I worked and we would sit together. I worked at a Dairy Queen, so I would go and eat in the eating area. So there was these people sitting like, I don't know, like 5 feet away from us, or like 10 feet, not very far away. Like, I could hear them. And well, the one girl was like, oh, they just got married to each other. The other lady was like, oh really? Young love. Let's see how long that lasts. And she's like, I know, right? And then they just like laughed and they're like, oh, they'll get sick of each other eventually. And I'm like, I can hear you. Hello. Obviously, like, say whatever you can have your opinions, you can have your judgments. Like I said before, you can judge me. I don't really care. But like, I can hear you. But like, I don't know. It gets exhausting having people say negative comments towards you, and like, there's nothing positive anyone has to say, and it gets just a little bit tiring. Just a little bit. Luckily, not long after we were married, we moved away, so we didn't have to deal with those comments anymore. And that's obviously not why we moved, but that was a perk. A very small perk, but it was a perk nonetheless. But of course, that was the bad side. And like, that bad side, it really wasn't that bad at all. Like, yeah, it was tiring and it was like annoying it was more so just frustrating. So yeah, the good side was that I got to marry Ben. Duh. This may sound cliche or cringy or what have you, but like, I do fall more in love with him every day. Like, the more we talk, I'm like, man, oh my gosh, I married this guy. This is so cool. Like, I get to be with him forever, and like, I just, my heart. Sometimes I just stare at him, I'm like, how the heck? I don't know how we found each other in a small yeehaw town, you know? Like, I know quarantine was really hard on a lot of people's relationships, which really sucks, and I'm very sorry, but, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, well, look at me, but like, I think I'm allowed to talk about my experiences as well. And my experiences were positive. Like, I kind of enjoyed quarantine because we just got to chill together, and we played video games, we watched movies, we had hour-long talks that were like so fun, and like, I love being with him. I don't get sick of him, I don't get tired of him. That doesn't mean that we don't have arguments or we don't like disagree or anything like that. We do. Like, that's bound to happen when you live with someone, but I don't, even with arguments, it doesn't make me love him less, doesn't make me like him less. I'm just like, you know, our experiences are still valid. And I think a lot of people try to invalidate our experiences because we were so young. And yeah, we were young and we're growing and changing, but we're growing and changing together, which is exciting for us. And I know that's not for everyone, but that is for us. And I wish that's something that I wish people would realize, is that just because you had a bad experience with a relationship or marriage or anything, not even just relationships, but just anything in general, that doesn't mean that's gonna be the experience for everybody. Like, if you do want to give advice, just saying something negative, that's not advice, that's just negativity. So if you're like, hey, I had a negative experience with this, but I learned something, so I'm gonna teach you what I learned, so maybe try this and maybe you'll have a better outcome. You know what I mean? Instead of just being,
Well, my marriage sucks and I hate it, so you're going to too. Just so you know, it's inevitable.
it's not inevitable, shut up. Yeah, and I know I'm young. Maybe some of you will not be taking this video seriously because I've only been married a year and I'm young, I'm still only 21. But I can't help what age I am. I can't help for how long I've been married, and my experiences are still valid. You know what I mean? And like, maybe in a few years, or 20 years, 30 years, I will have a different opinion, but that doesn't invalidate, is that a word? Invalidate, I don't know. You know what I mean though. That doesn't take away from my experience now and my opinions now. Like, they are valid now. And this is what I'm feeling now. And it's not a wrong thing, you know what I mean? I think a lot of older people are like, well, no, because I feel this way as an older person, so that means you're wrong. When it's like, I'm not wrong, I'm at a different place in life than you. My feelings are valid, your feelings are valid. So yeah, with all that said, my experience with being married at 20 is that I love it and I don't regret it. I love who I'm married to. It is really easy to be married to Ben. A lot of people were always like, it's a lot of hard work. And like, I don't know, I've yet to find the work. I feel like maybe that comes more so with kids. It's gonna be a lot of work when we have kids, because you have to work through things and you gotta figure things out and you gotta, you know, take care of another human. But so far we are just taking care of a cat, which is not difficult in the slightest. And like, that maybe sound braggy, like, yeah, it's easy for me, but like, I'm not gonna lie and say that I have a shitty relationship with Ben when that's not the case. Like, I think we have a pretty healthy relationship, and I'm not gonna lie about that. And that being said, like I said before, it doesn't mean that we don't argue. It doesn't mean that we don't have disagreements. Of course we do, but it doesn't feel like hard work working through those disagreements. You know what I mean? It just feels like something that happens. That's just life. So yeah, that is enough of my rambling now. That was the video. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment below. And if you like these kind of videos, let me know. I can do more maybe. Also, if you like this video, do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe button if you so wish. Obviously, you don't have to. I make new videos most Thursdays. I haven't posted a video in like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, but I'm going to try and get back on track in posting videos every Thursday and some Sundays. I was going to start posting videos every Sunday, but I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'll try, and I will see you next week. Goodbye. I'm so bad at outros.